travels a lot.
I do a lot of things.
Yeah, he does a lot of things too.
I started in single family about 10 years ago, and actually started as a realtor. And I noticed how transactional of a business it was, and I wanted to be on the other side of the table, so I started investing in real estate. About 2 years into the game, and I got my first property with a FHA loan through the lender. And I always had the mindset, I was like, I'm a realtor, I get paid to buy real estate. Why am I not buying real estate? So I would never forget, like when I went to a lender, I'd say, man, hey, can I get qualified for an FHA loan? He's like, dude, you're 1099, you don't have 2 years of tax returns. I'm like, Trent, you gonna tell me I don't have 2 years of tax returns? Anyway, so that was the conversation I had with a lender many years ago in 2015. So I was 2017, I got my first deal. And so that was a primary residence deal. I would always buy house hacks, right? I would buy properties that would pay for themselves. I would get paid the real estate commission, and I would get my closing costs covered through the seller. So some of these deals I was bringing $5, $10, $15, $20,000 to the table. And my first deal was that duplex that I built onto, and I made it a triplex. So I added square footage. And so I would repeat this process year over year, year over year. Again, this is when people were like, yo, the market's gonna crash. So all my assets, 3, 4, 5 years later, gained all this equity. And the way I came up on a lot of my income, a lot of my wealth was, again, bank rates at the time were very cheap. Investment loans where you can get an investment loan 3.5%, 4%. So I was doing cash out refinances. This is what I was telling Andreas a second ago. A lot of times banks don't like to lend you until you get 10, right? Is it 10 in the conventional? Just a regular conventional?
Yeah.
They don't like to. So anyways, I got up to 10. So I got to a point where I was like, and this was like 3.5 years ago, I was like, man, I have tapped out on buying one home a year. I have gotten to a position where I've done cash out refinance across my whole entire portfolio. And a big benefit for me, again, a lot of people might say, oh man, you're over leveraged, you took all your equity out. I'm young.
Dave Ramsey.
I was young. I was okay with taking high risk. And like I was just telling him a second ago, it was like, the cool thing about real estate is when you buy it year over year, historically, even on down markets, year over year, you're looking at about a 5% appreciation, right? Across the board. So I own a piece of real estate, it's paying for itself by other tenants, and I'm able to take that equity tax-free, not get taxed by Uncle Sam. I always tell people, like, the biggest burden you have in your life is Uncle Sam's always in your pocket, right? Everything you buy, think about it, Uncle Sam is in your pocket. You are paying taxes on everything. So 3.5 years ago, I stumbled across creative finance, which I wish in the PadSplit world, which I noticed, because I've been on a couple seminars, no one's talking about how do you take down deals creatively. Yeah. Jimmy talked a lot about banks today, but you don't need banks to buy real estate. And I had that mindset, broken mindset. I need banks. I need banks to be able to buy real estate. I need banks to be able to scale my own portfolio. I need to be able to borrow, or I need to be able to have my own money to be able to buy deals. And there's 2 reasons why people don't buy deals. Because they don't think they can get a deal, or they don't think they have the money. And you don't realize proximity is key. Everybody in this room has a different skill set. We all have different superpowers. When you identify what your superpower is and you combine it with someone like a Jimmy or someone like a Ray, you'd be surprised how powerful you are. No, I didn't say Ariana, no, but you'd be surprised how powerful. You'd be surprised how powerful you become. We all have different skill sets. Make sure you collaborate with someone else. But so I started out Airbnb, took all my properties, put them in Airbnb, was killing it. Still have 17 doors on Airbnb to this day. Then I got into PadSplit because PadSplit resonated with me for one of the big reasons was because I rented a bedroom at one point in my life. I know what it feels like to go to Craigslist or Facebook to get a bedroom rental. The feeling of that didn't feel good. So now they've created a marketplace where you can easily tap into bedroom rentals. So I scaled into that. I got 30 doors on PadSplit. But I've gotten to a point, and I don't want any of you guys to compare yourselves to me, okay? I've been buying single family for a long time, and I've gotten to a point where I'm like, for me as a professional investor, it's just not scalable for me, And so recently I've gotten to, because I'm in the hospitality space with Airbnb, I've been buying RV parks because it's more scalable. We don't have to worry about regulations. I'm buying the zoning. I'm able to raise money, syndicate, create a fund, do all these creative things, and scale my portfolio with partners, people I love and work with.
No, I want to do a group photo personally, and then I'll let Trent deal with you guys if you don't want to. So group photo.
I always tell realtors, you spend years and years and years, and let's say you're a top realtor and you sell 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 million dollars in real estate a year. The challenge with that is at the end of the day, 5, 10, 20 years from now, right? 30 years from now, what's the exit? What's the exit? What are you going to sell me?
My brother-in-law, 20 years, is a successful realtor.
Yeah.
He doesn't have $25,000 right
That's
now.
what I'm trying to say, though.
It's nuts.
It's not like you build a business, right?
Yeah.
A real business, like an HVAC business, a plumbing company, electrical. You actually have something you can exit and show for 30, 40 years from now, right?
Right.
So that's the thing. People get in these brokerages, they get around these people, and they say, hey, they teach you how to make another commission check.
Really good at what you're doing to
Right.
sell a house.
So this is what I tell people. I say use it as a vehicle. Use it as a vehicle to get point A to point B, and that's what I did.
You sure
I said,
did.
look,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I get paid to buy real estate.
Yeah.
Why am I not taking advantage of that?
I know, right?
Right? And then, so that's what I did years ago when
You
money
figured
was
it out
free.
early.
Right. Because I noticed, I was like,
Well,
this
you were
is
frustrated. You're like,
Correct.
when is this going to end?
There's
What is the end game
correct.
here?
There was a pain point. For me, it was like, I'm only as good as my next sale. I made 10K this month or 20K this month. How do I solve that problem? And so that's why I was like, I'm gonna start buying the product that I'm selling. And you can sell the product better than anybody when you own the product that you're selling.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, man.
I worked in the restaurant business for 25 years. I look back on it now, and it was like, I didn't go into work, I didn't get paid.
Right.
And then I had like miserable bosses, awful coworkers, slow days and whatever.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is horrible.
Yep.
This sucks. What do I do that I can actually build?
Right.
And I got into real estate. I'm like, wow, if I only work as hard at real estate
Right.
as I did in the restaurant,
Right.
literally as hard, rise right to the top.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
what happened.
Buying a piece of real estate is like having an employee that never quits on you.
We just converted our portfolio in Cleveland to PadSplit.
Nice.
So